Hi class, let's take a look at problem E. And the main instructions on all of these problems is for us to solve by factoring, but the main idea here is that we have to set the equations equal to 0. So for example, on problem E, in order to set the equation equal to 0, what we're going to have to do is subtract the 3. So subtract the 3, and that's going to give us an equivalent equation of the following form. So we're looking at x squared minus 2x minus 3. This is equal to 0. And at this point, what we're going to try to do is technically carry the factorization. So we're going to end up with x's and x's. And then we're looking for two numbers that multiply to negative 3 and add to negative 2. So we could try negative 3 plus 1 because the multiplication will give us negative 3. The sum, after we FOIL, will give us the negative 2. So by the zero factor property, at this point we have that x minus 3 is equal to 0, or x plus 1 is equal to 0. And then here, we can actually solve it by adding the 3 and subtracting the 1. So we're going to conclude that the solutions are x is equal to 3 or x is equal to negative 1. And not all problems are going to factor, but this particular one factors, and we end up with those two numbers as solutions. That's it for problem E. Let's move on into problem F. And we have the same problem at the beginning. It's not equal to 0, but here we have two values that we have to set equal to 0. So we'll subtract the 11x's, and then we're going to end up with an equivalent equation that actually says x squared minus 11x is equal to negative 30. And then we have to add the 30. So our resulting equation, it's going to be the equation of x squared minus 11x plus 30 is equal to 0. At this point, we'll try to do the factorization. And the only numbers that add to 30, multiply to 30 and add to negative 11 are 5 and 6. So this will have to be an x, it's just an x. And an x, and because the middle term is negative, we would actually say minus 6 minus 5. So the multiplication of those two provides a positive 30 and a sum that gives us technically negative 11. So at this point, we would actually look at x minus 6 is equal to 0, or x minus 5 is equal to 0. That's by the zero factor property. And then at this point, we're going to be adding 6 and adding 5. So our final solutions are going to be x is equal to 6 or x is equal to 5. And that would be it for this one. These are the solutions. Let me move on to the last one, and the last one is already set equal to 0. Also, it's a difference of squares because you can rewrite the problem as x squared minus 4 to the second is equal to 0, which means that you could rewrite it as x and x and express it as minus 4 and plus 4. I'm using the formula that x squared minus b squared factors as x minus b and x plus b. And then from here, we would just say that x minus 4 is equal to 0, or x plus 4 is equal to 0, and then solve both of these conditions, which will require for us to add 4 and subtract 4, which is going to give us the solutions of x is equal to 4 or x is equal to negative 4. Okay, that's actually it for these problems. The main instructions say for us to factor, and after the factorization, we're using the factor zero property, which technically gives us two solutions. That's it for these three problems.